the thing that came to me this morning was I've heard different people talk about the different truths. You know, for example, the mass meditation. Oh, you shouldn't mass meditate because people are mass meditation on the coronavirus and they're going to empower it, you know, or other people saying, you know, just focus on what you need to focus on, you know, and I think all of them are true. It
I
all
was
depends
just
on
going to say, I relate to both because I feel like the first statement you made felt like it was coming from fear, like, oh no, I can't do this because of that. Well, you can do whatever the fuck you want, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I've heard spiritual, you know, just going on the phone, on social media and realizing how people were talking about, oh yeah, you know, the Schumann residence, you know, everybody was meditating that day. And then somebody else comes out, well, it wasn't the people, it was the alignment, you know? Well,
I
it
think
was
they're
both.
both.
Yeah, it's a combination of both.
And
You
I
know?
didn't feel called to have to do what everybody else is doing. Me, personally.
Neither did I. I just felt to
I'm
sit
like,
down and meditate
to.
on my
Yeah.
own.
And I
That
feel like once we get to this level, like a certain level, just your intention of whatever you do, even if it's small, has more bang than, oh, I'm going to go sit with 100 people and meditate.
Well, it's like you said earlier, I felt it starting 2 days before. So I was going through the changes and grounding those energies in as they were coming in. And that was 2 days before. And the way I was doing it, as crazy as it sounds, I was doing yard work.
Yeah. Yeah, there's lots of
know?
ways. Yes.
You know, my intention was, you know, to ground in whatever energies while I'm doing my yard work.
Or
And I'd be
hiking.
conscious of it. And then the following day, you know, there was some grass that we pulled up and, you know, it's full of dirt and stuff. The following day, I stuck my feet in the dirt that we had pulled out and I started grabbing the grass and pounding it against the tree until all the dirt comes out. And I'm just, you know, you could say meditating, you know, but really not thinking, just being, you know, in that place, you know, just.
And that's a meditation. Yeah. Even if it's working out, running, hiking.
Anything, reading a book. It's just, people don't realize there's all kinds of type of meditation because a book is a story, you know, you get out there and of course it depends on the book you're reading, but there's still stories. So I felt, you know, the need to say all of it's true. All of it's true depending on the individual. And as they let go of whatever outcomes or whatever, then they tend to move over to the higher realities and different truths for them, which, you know, that's where all arguments and all wars have been fought over, is those truths. Two different people, two different realities trying to.
Well, yeah, everybody's trying to convince. People are trying to convince each other of like, you have to believe what I believe. And honestly, who cares? I don't care what you believe. Believe what you want.
It's not even that. It's just, where do you want to move? What reality do you want to move into? You know, it's information is so vast out there. And like I spoke to you last time, I feel that people are trying to pull you into their realities more than anything else. So.
Yeah, whether they're aware of it or not, I don't think all the time they're aware of it either. I mean,
yeah, that's true. I think
sometimes it's malicious and like they're fully intending on it, but other times I don't think that they even know what they're doing. So I feel like it's so important for us to be always diligent and watching. Like, okay, what am I believing? What am I saying yes to? What am I allowing into here?
Right.
Like, that they're saying, like, does this feel right? Does it benefit me? Is it good? Do I want that to happen? Because like even my light worker friends that are like very powerful and awake, they keep mentioning Trump, the virus, and I'm like, I'm not entertaining that conversation. Like, that's not in my world right now. Like, I'm with the butterflies and the birds and, you know, helping people and like high vibe and like, okay, like, yes, that's a thing, but it's not the giant thing. I'm looking at the sun. I'm looking at all the good stuff. I'm choosing to focus on, you know, the happy.
Yeah, no, of course. And that's another thing that I was shown to. As spiritual people, there's things that we're supposed to know. Okay. Um, and that information is being brought to us through other spiritual people. Again, we know about, well, I know about certain things, stuff that they're trying to tell you, for example, to get you to know or to be aware of. Again, an old reality, old timeline that a lot of us got pulled into. All I know is our job is not to inform the public of this. Our job is to create a different reality for what we've been shown or what information is being brought to us by counteracting that energy and just focusing on the reality of balance, harmony, love, joy. Where all these other realities out there that they're still talking about separation,
right?
Duality. And this is where I come in. It's to bring that balance and to stay focused. And I know that the reality I was shown, I know there was more people than just me that helped create this one. It was just a plain blank slate reality where everything's harmony, everything's just flourishing like a new world, where all the rivers were clear. You see multicolors and everything. The skies are purple. Just a very colorful environment, where everybody has the freedom to travel, has a base income, and has the ability to grow with any kind of business through their own creativity. Just harmony all around, and being able to work with each other to be able to bring information towards us, to become fully empowered, that kind of freedom. Now, what does it take to get into that freedom? Whatever it needs to take, whatever needs to collapse, whatever needs to change. You mentioned the word Trump. I've seen realities where Trump is negative, and I've seen realities where Trump's positive. I've seen him. I've heard his voice completely 100% positive for the people, for the lower income people, just in general. Where I hear they get his words and make a story and it's all negative against everybody. So, and there goes the hummingbird. So it's confirmation to me that there's many, many timelines, and it all depends on where do you want to go, what story you want to believe, and there's a lot of people that are waking up and started bringing their own stories into the mix, because again, there is a collective story.
And a lot of that is fear-based. I feel like that's a good point you made about no matter what has to collapse for that new to come in. I feel like we forget that part of it's okay for it to leave. It's okay for it to collapse because every ending is another beginning start. Like it has to leave for you to get the new. And that's okay. You don't have to freak out. Just know, oh yeah, this happens. But then this happens. So keep your eye on the prize, not on what's leaving.
Yeah, and here, let's take it another step further. Illness, all illnesses, no matter what the illness is. From a higher reality point, there's no such thing as illnesses. But yeah, everybody gets caught up in these diseases, viruses, pandemics, et cetera, et cetera. When understanding that everything that happens on this planet is to bring awareness to us for us growing, for example, a cold. What is the purpose of a cold? Well, our body purges. There's things that it needs to release as it grows. So what happens is it creates a cold for us to cough it out, sneeze it out, unblock whatever is blocking us. But we call it a cold. We get sick, we get old. So we empower the cold to be more negative, to be more abusive, to be more harmful to us.
So to be bigger
Why?
than
Because
it really is.
fear. Yes. But now let's empower that cold with positive energy
Mm.
and instill that. So what happens is, instead of you becoming weaker after an illness, guess what? You become stronger
Mm.
because now you're using it the way it's supposed to be used.
So you
So,
celebrate it.
huh?
You celebrate it. Like, thank you
Yeah,
for removing all that crap.
correct. So, for example, I hear these stories about, people dying over these illnesses right now, or viruses, or whatever you want to call it. 3 years ago, I have a story to share. This illness that people are going through, I went through an illness. It was the flu for me. How bad was it? It was pretty bad. It lasted 3 months.
Wow.
I was choking. I was coughing. My lungs were full. I didn't go to no doctor. I didn't go to no hospital. I had a hard time breathing. Now, it's funny. I got a hummingbird right above me. I could feel him flying above my head. But my whole life I had to deal with bronchitis and asthma. But the main thing is, I was angry. I wasn't a lovable person. I had a lot of hate in me. So as my heart chakra started opening up, that had to purge out. Guess where it was at? In my lungs. So as my energy increased, my illnesses became stronger. But because I was still living at a 3D reality, I was empowering it even more. Being that I was awake and my energy was strong, my root chakra was unlocked. So now I'm manifesting my illness.
Wow.
So a normal illness that would have lasted me 2 weeks lasted me 3 months.
Wow.
And I wasn't taking no medicines.
Can I
was
ask
just
why? Why didn't you go to the doctor or take medicines? Like, was it a conscious
because
thing?
one of the things that I was shown was for our bodies to heal 100% is by not obstructing it with chemicals, which is medicines. And
So
medicines are made to block.
stopping the fever, for instance. A lot of people are afraid of a fever, but a fever is really good for you.
Yes, well, that's the thing is it's trying to heal something within yourself and purge it out. By you blocking it, it's just extending the illnesses to keep happening more often until it gets it out of you.
Okay, so you're pausing it with the medicine, and then it
Yes.
just has to keep coming back because it's not.
And every time it comes back, it's going to come back worse until it gets it all out.
Okay, but we're not endorsing not going to the doctor. We're just sharing our stories. You do
Yeah.
whatever you want. You do what
Yes.
you're guided to.
Yeah.
Listen to yourself.
Yes. So 3 months later, I'm laying outside in my backyard down here, and I'm, under the blankets. It's hot as very hot outside, and I'm freezing. I'm
Wow.
shivering. My body is just shivering. Finally, one of my friends / tenant, he comes down and he says, I've been talking to him for 4 or 5 years already about the stuff that I've been going through and the information of the downloads. So he finally is like, you need to listen to yourself. Do you hear yourself? You're telling me you're sick. You're telling me, he goes, you're empowering that.
Whoa.
So it kind of like kicked me in the butt, and I'm like, thank you for, sharing this information. And, it's happened for me that I had just started telling and changing my method of thinking a couple days before. So I was like, thank you for affirming that, because that's how I felt. And I just started saying, but he did bring me some medicine. He brought me a couple Moltrins or whatever. He goes, we need to knock you out of this. And he said, this will get you, jump up, and then your mind will start, and get you out of it. And he goes, use it. And sure enough, within days, I just popped right out of it. Because the following day with the medicine made me feel better, which my affirmation.
You decided, right? You decided,
yes.
Okay, no more.
No more, I'm done. Yes. But because of the fear and the stress over the fear is what keeps eating you up.
Yeah.
Well, let me share this now. Well, guess what? I had it the following year. I've had it the following year. And now I've had it this year. The difference was is every year it got less and less. How do you say, dense or less? But the fear was always there. So I would get sick and I would still be afraid of my lungs getting filled up and coughing and choking, because that's something I've had my whole life.
So you had that expectation of after this comes this and this.
Yes. So
Okay.
as soon as I felt the sore throat, I knew that I was going to have this, because I've been dealing
Oh,
with this my whole life.
so it's like
So
you're
the universe,
inviting it.
huh?
It's like you're inviting it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's
So,
time for you to show up. And now your friends have to come too.
so in January, when China started going through their stuff, I did too. So the fear comes up.
A lot of people were sick in
Like,
January.
yeah. So that fear came up and I was like, oh my God. I was like, but I didn't think nothing of, the virus or anything. I
Yeah.
just, the flu again, and that fear comes up. But this time around, right away, I grabbed myself and I started changing. I said, no, I know that my abilities and my gifts were taken away these last 3 years for me to heal. So for me to place my hands on my body or try to do any kind of energy work wasn't as strong compared to this year. My energy is starting to come back. All my energies and all my abilities and my gifts are starting to come back online, because my body had to recuperate, center, and then the alignments to allow me to open back up. So now as my energy coming back up, within 24 hours, that fear and that congestion and the sore throat, wherever it's gone. I was like, wow.
So you did it
And
in
then
one day?
yeah, and then it came back a week later, because again, the fear of what was going on outside of us with this coronavirus, it made you think, like, is this real? Is this not? You lose your fifth dimensional, seventh dimensional
Oh,
realities
you
up
come
there,
down into
and you
3D.
come, yeah. So all this comes up, and it's like, and I got caught up, and I was like, I started breathing it out, letting it go. I said, no, this ain't real. And again, I felt the energies, so I started, putting my energy and start doing my energy work and clearing all that energy, that fear out. Breathe it out, ground it in, just clear it all out.
So
Because
you
again, it's
remembered your
fear.
power. You remembered your
Yes.
power. You stepped into your divine power.
Well, this is a lot of the stuff that's happening to me now, and it's been happening to me for the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years. It's like there's a period that we get shown all kinds of stuff, and then we forget all that stuff.
Mm.
Then we got to go through the healing of our bodies, and then the stuff comes back in. And then individuals, even like you've shared certain stuff. My other friend that I shared to you about, he comes up all the time and he's like, hey, he's trying to teach me his gifts, not understanding that everything he's teaching me, I already know how to do. I just didn't know how I did it.
Right. Sometimes we don't know that it's a gift. You're like, that's just the thing I do.
Yeah, it's just like, it comes natural. And I'm like, I do that all the time. Like, oh, he goes, you need to come in and you do this and this and this. I'm like,
Yeah, like there's a recipe, right? There's no
yeah.
recipe. It just is. Yeah.
Well, it's because for some of us, we came in with already knowing. For individuals like them, they have to remember the process and learn it so they could focus their energy for their growth.
So
It's
follow
just,
the dance moves for them.
yeah.
But for us, you're like, oh yeah, that's the thing that I do. Okay.
Like to me, another individual walks up, and I never realized, when I give people hugs, just gave them hugs and my whole body shakes. A person comes up to me and says, you know that there's a pink light and a blue light every time you hug people. That says it comes from the sky and it just comes into your body and just whoosh. I'm like, oh, thank you for that information. It's how, we help each other. It's always gifts that other people have that share things with us that confirms a lot of the stuff that's going on around us,
Yeah, validates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tend to have fun with it now and just go with the flow of stuff and just,
Yeah. Can you
whatever's meant
talk
to happen.
about seeing how you mentioned the other time, seeing things from 3D, 4D, and 5D? Because I feel like that relates to what you were talking about before.
Well, yeah, on a daily basis, as individuals start waking up, if they slow down enough, they'll start noticing different realities throughout their days or every day. Like, for example, today, I posted a song, on YouTube. I don't know how you post things, but I posted the song because somebody mentioned again, the rain here, the flame, the internal flame, the winds. He says, oh, these winds here are trying to blow out the flame, trying to, the rain, try to smother the flame and all that stuff. And no, to me, it's different. To me, it's more of the rain and the wind is here to cleanse us from all the stuff that we went through, to wash us down, to clean us, and allow the flame to flourish. Because all that junk that's on us has been covering the flame. Mm. So this wind is helping tear all that stuff off, and the rain's helping wash it all away, because what we did these last 3 days and all years really has been going on almost on a daily basis, is we've been cracking everything that has to do with our lungs and compassion and love. And this is what all this, coronavirus is all about, is bringing people back to unity. People would start recognizing each other, realizing the gifts that they have at home that they take for granted, because they're always going 100 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. So everything that's happening on earth right now is a blessing. It's perfect. It's in perfect alignment to assist every individual in waking up and receiving their crown by purging, by accepting their deaths and allowing whatever's going to happen. Thank you. No matter what. Oh, my family members are sick. Okay, thank you. Accept it. There's a reason why. And sometimes as soon as you accept the things that are going on around, you switch realities. The people that you thought were sick are not sick anymore. Everything's flowing the way it's supposed to. Everything's moving. And today is one of those days. Today's one of those days that we just allow reflection. People might have to clear those things out, express themselves, share, and then tomorrow you wake up and you're like, oh wow, it's a different day. And it's constantly like this. Sometimes it's within hours. You walk out of a room, you walk back in, and you're like, oh wow, it feels different. Yeah, you let go of whatever argument, projection, idea, stuff that you had against the person that's in the other room. And the moment you let it go and just say, fuck it, and you walk back into that room, it's like that person, that argument, that scenario never happened. Mm-hmm. And it's just like you're in harmony again, and you're happy, and that other person's happy, and you just keep going. But if you want to bring up the past, you want to bring up the problems, then you're going to stir up, you're going to drop down in realities, back to the 3rd and 4th dimension, and you're going to have to deal with whatever issue you're dealing with, and then you bounce back up.
Yeah, it's like you're digging up a dead body, and you keep making it a thing and dragging it around with you, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
But I think we forget how powerful our mind is. And like,
and trust me, and I know this very easily because I've been pulling myself down a lot, and it's because there's a lot of stuff I needed to deal with, from a micro. I mean, I feel that 99% of my stuff is cleared out, but the head stuff, overthinking things, I think that's where the reliving certain aspects helps clear out and let go, because you're constantly creating your own hell, your own problems. So eventually you start saying, you know what, I don't want to think that no more. I don't want to be like that no more. And you start focusing on something else. And being a Virgo, I had a mind that's constantly going 100, and I had to learn to slow it down. Now I'm learning to, as thoughts come up, it's like, okay, no, that's not the thought. I want to go to this thought. Try to change the thought, try to envision something better. And I asked the universe to help me too, and help me by finding me other things to occupy me, or to bring my attention or bring my awareness away from certain things. And then I'll get a phone call, something will pop up, somebody will show up, and then it's like, okay, you just lost focus.
Yeah. Then, well, don't feed what you don't want, basically.
Exactly.
But constantly, I think you have to train yourself to just always be swatting those flies. And then one day it's just autopilot. You don't even think, you just swat, and it just becomes so natural. But like, you have to get to that point where it's just autopilot. Refocus. Because in the beginning, it's hard. But once you keep doing it, it becomes a lifestyle because it's a way of life. Then
Yes.
it's nothing. It's easy. It's like, oh yeah, that's what I have to do. That's just what I do, right? Can you talk about the days of darkness? That's been a popular thing the past few years. What
Well,
is your take on what is the days of darkness?
to me, the days of darkness, what I experienced was back in 2012, December 21st. Um, when I heard the 3 days of darkness back then, I didn't know what it was. Um, like a lot of people today, it was a fear of the economy, uh, things going on, of what I used to see in the news, and focus my energy on. I thought the world was coming to an end. You know, I was like big on UFOs and conspiracy theories and all this stuff.
Mhm.
So I thought a lot of that had to do with 3 days of darkness. They were going to cut the power, a lot of stuff. But when 2012 came around, December 21st, I had gone through a lot of stuff. Um, I had started a spiritual awakening, and I went to a conference, and a lot of spiritual people were talking about December 21st and the 3 days of darkness too, also. Um, and most people thought, the power was going to go out. There's no light, no nothing. But what I came to find out when December 21st comes, and hearing all these indigenous religions, cultures from all over the world talk about it, um, when December 21st came, there was supposed to be a huge shift on the planet from what all cultures and stuff. But the shift was actually within ourselves, the people that were open to it. And the shift was supposed to happen anywhere between December 21st and I think Christmas, like 26 or something. Well, as I was meditating, I was praying, um, something happened to me. And literally, I was present in my body, but almost like a zombie. Like I knew my body was here. I knew I was in a house. I know I was in my bed, but that was it. I had no thought, no vision. I couldn't think. I couldn't, nothing. It was just like, I would say like in a coma,
Mhm.
kind of. But I was still able to move and stuff. And for 3 days, I wasn't able to function at all. My brain wasn't working. I had enough sense just to eat. Um,
Were you
if I ate,
depressed? Did you feel
uh,
sad? Like emotionally, how did that feel?
no, it just felt like gone. Like I was gone. Like
So no good,
not
no bad,
like
nothing.
like a blank.
Mhm.
And right now, what I'm getting is it's almost like it's funny. Right now, what I'm getting is a computer. When your body is rebooting, it needs time to process. So you know how a computer shuts down?
Mhm.
It takes time to shut down, and
Mhm.
then it reboots. It takes time to reboot.
Mhm.
Well, I'm getting that the 3 days of darkness is kind of like that. That your body needs to shut down and reboot itself, and it takes 3 days.
So you think it's
Uh,
your body, it's people's bodies, not necessarily what they said of like no sun or no internet
no, it has to do with the death and rebirth of a individual.
of you.
And I think there's even something out there regarding Lucifer and the what is the other word? Luciferian and the Christmas star. It's the same thing.
Oh, Venus,
Ve-
the dark
is it
star.
Venus?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. And they talk about how during Christmas, actually, I think that's what it is. The 3 days of darkness has to do with Christmas. Okay, so what I recall today now Okay, I'm gonna go out there.
No,
We're all
what you're saying
we're
is
all,
exactly what I got yesterday. So I'm excited for you to finish so I can share what I got because it's the same thing with Christ, Christmas,
so okay.
and all
It's
that.
Christmas. Okay, so what happens is, and I'm gonna be honest, truth. I'm gonna go that back. Back in December 21st, I was crying in my bathroom, and I was praying and meditating, and all this information, feelings came into me about Jesus and the second coming of Jesus. So I was crying there, and I said, you know what? If nobody's willing to step in or step forward, I'll take that responsibility. I'll take the full force of Christ and step into it. When I did that, I felt this energy come through my body, and it just, again, it didn't hit me till like a couple days later, like around the 22nd, 23rd, and I went dark for those 3 days. I've heard, I think through religions or through something, that the star, the Luciferian star, the Christmas star, it goes through darkness of 3 days, and then it comes out on the other side, rebirth. Well, that's what I understand. It's us.
Mm-hmm.
So when we step into our full potential of our Christed beings during this time of Christmas, you meditate, you focus, and when you're ready to accept the full integration of Christ within you, then it puts you on your ass for 3 days. That's what, to me, the 3 days of darkness.
You think it's the old you, the old versions of you, the limitations of you dying, and then
Yes.
you being reborn, like resurrected?
Yes.
How funny that when I was preparing, like, oh, I have to set up, I always like to have flowers because I like flowers. And I thought, what flowers am I going to put? And I have some poinsettias that I got on Christmas that are still alive. I don't know how, because all plants die with me, but these are still alive from Christmas. And I just bought tulips for Easter. And those are the two flowers, I don't know if you can see them, that I have behind me. They're poinsettias,
Right. Yep.
and they're tulips. And when I didn't see the relation yet. Then I was shown Christ. And I'm like, Christ? Because to me, I'm looking at flowers. I'm like, what do you mean Christ? And then I'm like, oh, Christmas and Easter. Oh, and us. Whatever this is, it began Christmas and it's completing, resurrecting on Easter. And like, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about that and how weird, like the symbols and like all of that comes full circle, and like we're living it, we're feeling it, and all so simply put in two flowers, everything that you just said. And I'm like, oh my God, that's incredible. So when you were saying it, I was like jumping up and down inside. I'm like, oh my God, yeah. That's so funny.
So yeah, that's the 3 days. And it was amazing. Now, I mean, when we talked about it the other day, again, just to share this with you, the day we talked to you the other day, I was all over the place. I didn't realize that we weren't in jumping timelines a lot, because I lost days and I gained days, and I was like, "What day is it today?" It's
I know.
6. I was like,
yes, it feels like 100 days have passed by, and it's like 3, and I'm like, how the hell is it Friday? What? It's April. What? Like, it's so weird.
I was meditating on the 3rd, thinking it was the 4th. Just
So you pre-wave too, because you were living the 4th the day before. I pre-wave also. What's going to happen to people tomorrow? I live it today. So that's.
Well, I started feeling it since the 2nd and the.
Wow.
Yeah, since the 2nd, I would say 2nd and 3rd.
Let's talk about the void, because to me, I feel like that is related somewhat to the 3 days of darkness. And I feel like we jump in and out of these like multiple times, separate times. I know I have, but like the void to me is this weird feeling that comes across me where I feel like I'm not there. Like I feel like, am I alive? Am I a ghost? Do I exist? Can anybody hear me? Can anybody see me? Like not in my body. Like I'm observing and things are happening, and like it'll be days where like I don't even communicate with anybody, or I don't feel like communicating with anybody, and immediately I guess the programming is, oh no, if you're not jumping up and down for joy like you just won the lottery, then there's something wrong with you, you know, like there's something wrong. So I go through my checklist of, am I sad, am I mad, am I lonely, am I depressed, like what am I feeling? And it's no, 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 no feeling, no. But the happiness isn't there, the glee, the bliss, the excitement isn't there. And I think when we've been programmed to think, if we're not ecstatic, there's something wrong. And like that bipolar up and down roller coaster has to be super extreme, super exciting, or super depressing, or super dark, or fighting, or warrior, or whatever. And I feel like we become, well, I know I become addicted to the extremes, like super high highs, super low lows. And then when I hit the neutral balance, I started freaking out because I'm like, what's this? What's this balanced neutrality? Like, I don't know what this is. Like, I'm used to shit being on fire, exploding and screaming, or yay, you know, super happy, wonderful rainbows. And like the neutrality scared the shit out of me. It felt like I was in an empty room by myself, and I didn't know what to do with that. It freaked me out. And it felt like I was in an empty bag. Like I just had nothing and I was nothing. There was no memories. There was nothing. Have you experienced that?
I would say all the time. I didn't know what it was. I would say for the longest. Because I didn't have teachers or anybody tell me or teach me anything. It's just everything came to me,
Yeah.
or I had
Well,
some video.
even if they tell you, I feel like somebody can tell you something and you're like, oh, okay, yeah. But until you feel it, until you walk it, you don't know what the hell they're talking about.
I would say I've been feeling like this for a while, in that place where there's no sadness, there's no happiness. But then my family comes in, and they're the ones that know how to,
Push the buttons.
yeah, to get into what's still left inside of me to bring me out of balance.
Mm.
And I've tripped out that with time, you know, it becomes easier and easier of just knowing that space of, it's just being, you know, it's trust and allow.
Yeah.
As a Virgo, you know, we have a tendency of trying to fix everything that's going on around us, you know. So we could be at peace right here, right now, and then suddenly somebody does something, and you're like, you take that breath, and you're like, okay, no, you should do it like this. No, and it's like, no, maybe you should let them fall. Maybe you should let them figure it out on their own. No, you know, and you start thinking about that instead of, why am I going to get involved? Um, and again, just the simple fact that you thought of it, it's already took you out. So having to get myself back into that place of just, things are just supposed to happen, because there's a lot of things around us that's still part of the process of moving forward. But we feel that it's because of our programmings from the past, that we have to do something, or we got to be involved, or and it's allowing those things to happen, allowing the flow of whatever your family's doing, even if you think it's wrong. There's probably a positive thing that's coming out of that.
Yeah.
And I'll give a quick scenario. My son wants to fix the taxes, you know, family taxes and all this stuff, and I'm like, gut feeling like, you know, something. No, you know, why you want to open Pandora's box? Worry about one thing and then you don't do the others. And the universe is like, no, let it all happen. How do you know that there's not a bigger picture of all this happening by him doing it now, because out of all times, now during the during the stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh. And then I really started meditating and started understanding what's really going on. And they're like, no, how do you know that this isn't to get you on top of everybody else's paperwork? By you doing your taxes, getting your stuff on top instead of being on the bottom or the middle of everybody. It says you don't know what's going on. You don't
Yeah.
know what financial stuff is going on outside of here. He says, just do brings it. All it does is bring your energy up that you're dealing with stuff when everybody else is not. You know, and I'm like, oh, okay, well maybe there's a bigger purpose for it. I've always felt that this whole situation going on globally is more of a financial reset than anything else, or a financial restructure.
Well, it's a reset on so many levels, though, isn't it? It's a reset,
Yeah, it's a reset on so many levels.
multifaceted.
I don't believe business will ever go back to the way it was. I believe the people that are working today are the majority of the people that are going to stay working. All the other people are going to find new ways of doing work, new businesses, now certain businesses that are very limited, family businesses, you see a lot of those flourish. I feel that family businesses, it's like the businesses are going to flourish, and a lot of new ones are going to start being created. Right now that we're at home, all these new ideas are going to come through people, and it's just going to flourish new businesses. And I think a lot of stuff is going to be done from home. All these cubicles, gone. No more cubicles. All business is done through home and get paid correctly for it. Balance of energy exchange. It's like an individual from Europe says, I work 8 hours and I get paid this much per hour. And he goes, I forcefully go to work 40 hours. When I could do that 40 hours worth of work in 10 hours.
Wow.
He says, why can't I get paid for my 10 hours instead of wasting all this other time just sitting there at work? Wasting it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that a lot of that stuff is people will get paid better, more efficient. People get, it's just a new way of thinking.
Yeah.
And I think it starts with us talking about it, being more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Aren't you more happy if you could do something for 1 hour and then still have time to spend with your family? You're more productive. You're more focused.
Mm-hmm. You save gas. They save lights, electricity, everything, heat.
Well, I think a lot of it's going to go automated now. From this point forward, I think a lot of it's going to go automated. We don't need people to work.
So streamlining, everything will be streamlined.
Yeah. I think a lot of it will need individuals for certain things. But in general, I think it's going to be freedom to learn about ourselves, learn to grow, learn to create the new reality. I think that's what we're going to start moving into as we start moving out of this.
So then this time is really just showing us what's not working and how it can be better for everything in every way of your life, really, personally and professionally.
Letting go. Biggest thing for everybody that had to let go of their jobs, it's let go.
Well, them, because we already did. They're just catching up. We're like, oh, you're finally on the bus with us.
Yeah, now everybody's in the same situation we are. What are you guys going to do?
I know, right? Now it's popular to be a fucking hermit. I'm like, I've been doing that. That's funny.
Oh, we're going crazy being at home. I'm like, welcome to my world.
That's my every day. Yeah. And like, I feel like right now it's really important, well, all the time really, but it's been extra magnified to me. Exactly what you were talking about, how to like, just let your son do what he feels inspired to do. Is like, give people permission to be who they are. Let them go so that they can fuck up, grow, learn, whatever it is they need to do in their way.
Go.
None of your business. You don't have to micromanage. You don't have to cut their meat for them. Let them do it. But also in so many ways, even like relationships, friendships, let them go so they can, to give them the opportunity to come back new and better. How you said you walked into a room and everything was different. Like the past automatically gets erased, fresh, clean slate. You're new, they're new because you let it go. Right?
Not only that, us as creators,
Yeah.
we have the possibility of changing whatever outcome.
Yeah.
So they're going to do something. You could set your own intentions to allow the outcomes to manifest a certain way.
So
You
then
know, so
attract
for me,
higher versions of people.
yeah.
You
So
have to
for
be the
example,
higher version, don't you think?
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is. So when he thought to do the taxes, to me, the first instinct is the fear, all this other stuff. But again, that was mine own too. You know, it's purging me.
Mm-hmm.
But then Spirit came in and says, no, look at it as we're going to create a reality by him doing that. And the reality is it's going to put all our paperwork on top. So when they start giving out loans and all this stuff for everybody, all our taxes are up to date.
Okay.
Everything's where it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not about taxes, doesn't mean that we're going to go pay, because I still believe that all taxes and debt's going to be wiped out completely. And all mortgages are going to be restructured with super low interest rates. And all banks that people have money are going to start getting charged interest for saving their money. If they're not spending their money, they're going to be charged interest. So it's to boost the economy and start the circulation again, because everything flows. Nothing stops. Nothing is ever meant to be put away and get stagnant. That includes money.
Basically, it's you shifting your perception, your beliefs, and saying, I'm deciding this is a good thing. That he's doing, that he's taking the initiative to do this thing, because actually it will benefit us. And I'm just deciding it's going to benefit me, even though I don't know how. Like,
and the funny thing is, I've had other situations throughout the years where I've gotten angry and tried to change it, and then it worked out. And I didn't, other than causing an argument between me and my family. What they were doing was right, and I was trying to force something. By letting it go, it all turned to work out. And that's where the bottom line is learning to let go. Learning to let go of what they're doing, learning to let go and know that it's for the greater good, especially now that we're in this timeline and reality about abundance. It's here 24/7. Us are blocking it from coming because we still have the fears, the doubts, the frustrations. So for a lot of us, we're still in that learning process, remembering, pay attention. And even today, you know, I had a little spark happened, you know, in the room. And again, the energies are always trying to clear things up between people. How are you going to go about it? Are you going to get angry again? Are you just going to express yourself? You know, are you going to be patient? You know, so many different things happen. And it's about us. And again, today I feel the energies are a little bit more for us to be able to get through what we went through, clear out, express, connect. And then it'll throw us back into an energy with other people and see, okay, you guys take care of your differences, or are you still having that?
So it's always a choice.
Yeah. Well, it's a projection. We're projecting it. So it's a choice, yeah, but we're projecting, oh, they're still evil, they're still mad, they're still this, they're still that. And when we come back into the room, what are we seeing? That. And it's not them, it's us.
Okay.
It's not them, it's us. And learning and remembering that we're walking into the room. Remember, we got triggered. We're still holding on emotions and projections. And when we walk back into that room, are we still triggered? We say we let it go. We feel better. But our thoughts, they're still mad at me. They're still holding that against me. And guess what? You walk back into that room and that is true, because you're still holding on to it. We think we let it go. And I've had situations where night and day, when I let go of something, night and day is like, wow, what the fuck happened here? It's just mind blowing. Mind fucking blowing. When you truly,
the manifestations are so fast right now. That's why you got to be careful, right? Because you're creating it super quick, whether it's shitty or good.
But it's still kind of a learning process too. The universe is actually helping you so you could learn to control it. They're not going to leave you just go screw yourself. No, they'll turn it on and off based on where you're at so you can see yourself. Because I've caught myself where I've done the opposite and thought all the negativity and for those 2 hours, they blocked all my thoughts. They blocked so I wouldn't manifest it. And then right after the 2 hours, once I got all that out of me, like kind of let it out, vented it out, then the universe says, boom, okay, now pay attention to what you're going to create. And they knew. So boom, they knew that I had let it go. My thoughts were going to change. So now they open up the doors, the energies. You see the sun comes out, everything, just the birds, everything just simultaneously as I'm waking up to my positive, now my manifestation. And then they bring it all in and then boom. And then it'll take it away probably 2-3 hours later because they're going to see that my family's coming around. They said, let me put you back down because you're going to get into it because you're still projecting. And you walk into the family and sure enough, shit happens, pops off. And then there's other times where it's all open and things, and my heart is screaming like, and there's still arguments.
But you don't care.
But the difference is now I'm not arguing. I'm setting my boundaries.
Oh, you're not feeding the argument.
Yeah.
So they're not leeching off of you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now I'm like, cut. This is how it is. And it's like, and it's healing as quick as it's doing, as quick as it's healing.
Wow.
And then 24 hours, like it never happened.
That's so weird. And that's why you feel insane because you're like, wait, weren't you just mad at me?
Yeah, I was like, everything was so quiet and peaceful right now. And then suddenly everything's blown up and then everything like, and this is that part that you're talking about, that void. It's like, and it drives you crazy because you're like, how could I be here and then suddenly be over there and then back over here again?
Yeah.
It's like, and it drove me crazy because I wasn't happy. I wasn't sad. I was just like, this is weird.
Yeah.
This doesn't, I don't know, just, and even now, it feels weird when you're in that space of just being. It's like you're twiddling your thumb. Okay, now what I do?
Well,
and it's
sometimes,
like
yeah.
You're blank. You're that.
I feel like that whole Virgo mentality tries to figure out, how did I get here? How can I recreate this? How can I get out? How can I come back in? Like you always want to figure out the secret code. I know I do. I always try to figure that out. And that fucks me up because I'm focused on that and I'm not just being in the now moment. And I feel like that's the invitation to just be here right now. Just watch. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. Just watch. And so that's what I'm being taught for myself, because I always try to control everything and it has to be like this and it has to be right now. And why isn't it here yet? And no, who cares? Leave it alone. It's perfect. It's perfect. Mind your own business.
Now, here, let me ask you this. This is coming to mind right now. I've seen multiple dead bees and I dreamed about bees in my room. What does that mean to you?
When I think of bees, I think of the hexagon, and I always see the hexagon, and the hexagon is the building block of life. They also relate it to Metatron's cube. Bees, I feel like, are abundance because honey.
Yeah, no, in my dream, actually even this morning, I woke up and there was a dead bee in my, have lemon, ginger, turmeric that we boil and drink tea out of. And there was a dead bee in there. And then there was a dead bee in the living room. And then last night or 2 nights ago, I dreamed that there was a bunch of bees coming out of my attic. Like there was, a hole, for the sockets to plug in or something. And there was a bunch of bees coming. And I could see like super, super little ones too. They were flying all around and I'm laying in the bed and I'm like, I got to get something to kill them in my dream.
Oh, and now they're out. Now that you're in your reality dead. Whoa, that's interesting.
And well, I've been following the bees for a while since, you know, they started dying out and people started talking about it. You know, my job was to create the opposite. My job was to create abundance of bees,
Hmm.
that they're, you know, multiplying and they're healing. And so I meditated a lot on that back then. And I even had a swarm of bees. I would say, a swarm. Uh, they were in one of the bushes, and there was thousands of them. And I was guided to walk towards them. And I think they were the killer ones, those ones that attack. Um, so I got about, I would say about 8 feet distance
Hmm.
when one of them came towards me and just whoosh, boom, hit me right in my third eye.
Hmm.
Just ran straight into my third eye. And then the other one ran into my heart. And then I
Sting you?
walked away. I was like, okay, that's the message. It's time for me to walk away.
So you got stung or no?
No.
Wow.
Uh, within, I've never been stung by bees until recently. Uh, Within the last 2 weeks, I got stung in my right foot. Last year, I think I got stung in my left foot, or two
Wow.
years ago.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So I would say it's bee medicine to help anchor some of the energy frequencies that I'm doing. And because they come through my legs, I got stung in my legs, both of them.
Wow.
Um, the bee hitting me in my third eye, I think it was, again, a healing, an opening.
Hmm.
Same thing with the heart, just
Hmm.
bringing those frequencies into my presence, I would say,
Hmm.
because the bees carry a very certain frequency, unique frequency within themselves.
Yeah, they're
Um,
giving you codes.
so I've had bees, they'll come and they'll lay on my chest. They'll fly around, they'll just come and lay, and then they'll take off. It's crazy.
Funny. You're the bee whisperer.
Um, what else? Yeah, no, they're, I just was surprised to see, I mean, in my path that, and me wanting to kill him. That was kind of odd.
Well, you could have been just dissolving an old timeline. Maybe that was the old you blocking your abundance, and now you're not. Or you can choose, because I feel like you can choose what it means. So choose something positive.
Oh, yeah.
Just
No,
choose
of course.
that's the old leaving, and now you're starting fresh. You're starting new.
Well, one of the biggest things that I've thought of is stop being, you know, start acting out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I feel like you know how they say busy like a bumblebee or busy like a bee, and then so the dead bee means just be. Don't.
Yeah, well, that's another. Well, you see, that's always been my path about just being. I
Mhm.
was One of the first things I've always told is Richard, you don't have to do nothing, zero.
Yes, you don't have to work. You don't have to try. You don't have to chase. You don't have to do anything. Yeah, I agree.
And I was like, wow, because even those times that I'm meditating out here, and I asked, you know, do I need to go somewhere? I need to do something, and they're like, no, just meditate, just chill, just relax. They tell me the biggest thing they tell me is just have fun, learn
Yeah.
to have fun,
Hmm.
play. So to me, learning to have fun is playing with my grandkids.
So were you the opposite before in your old life? Were you like go 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 do do do?
Kind of,
And
yeah,
so now you're
serious.
being redirected because that's
I
how
mean,
I was.
I would say I was go go go, but it was more of I wanted to party, go out on the weekends, go out during the week, you know, drinking with the guys, partying, that kind of stuff. That's what was my go go go. It wasn't that go go go
Wasn't
that I
work.
needed to. It wasn't working.
Okay.
I worked. I'm making money and making it, doing it.
Did you overwork? Were you like a workaholic? Like
I would say
micromanaging and everybody's business?
I would say I like money. So if there was a job, I would take care of it. I was very responsible when it came to that kind of stuff. And I like my toys. So I would say I would go get accounts to buy a new toy.
Okay. So that
Oh,
was
so okay, yeah. So for example, some accounts pay me 2-3 grand a month. Other accounts pay me 10 grand a month. Other accounts pay me, 500 bucks a month. So if I wanted a new car, I'll go get me an account that pay me an extra 500 bucks a month, and boom, I'll go get a new car. And I do all kinds of stuff like that. And I had all kinds of toys and this, but I didn't realize that my whole life I was living out of the fourth dimension. I was creating what I was thinking. And I was doing that my whole life. And I never knew that until I got
yeah,
sick.
me
Once I
too.
got sick, that's when they started showing me, it's like, Richard, do you know you can do this, this, and this, and this, and this, and you can do this? And I was like, oh shit, no wonder I've always been so-called lucky,
Yes. Me,
how I think.
yeah.
So now I teach people how I think so they can manifest their reality. But you remember that void?
Mhm,
For me, it's
mhm.
like, that's where I'm at, because it's like, I can get out of the void and start manifesting and creating and doing all this other stuff, but it's just like, I'm here, kind of quiet. I really don't care about, I need to go do this. And now I'm starting to feel that urge to wanting to get out and get more involved.
Connect.
That urge of, yeah, connect with people,
Hmm.
um, create. I don't know.
Yeah. So right now I feel like everybody's being invited to, well, I mean, whether you want to or not, beliefs are just dissolving. We're realizing that what's not true anymore, what doesn't work anymore. Um, like for me, I struggled with feeling guilty and like ashamed or shame and guilt with not being how I used to be at 100 miles an hour, doing everything for everyone all the time, putting myself last, um, working, 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 working. I was a workaholic, uh, in everybody's business, trying to micromanage everything, trying to control everything, trying to force everything, being like a drill sergeant. And like I was exhausted. I mean, yeah, I had a lot of money, I had everything I wanted, but I was tired and I was miserable and I was angry because I
Well, I think,
resented them, but they didn't ask me to do any of that shit. I forced myself on them like a fucking hurricane, and then I'm mad at them because, like, well, if you're not a fucking loser, I wouldn't have to come in and like be your mom and do all this stuff for you, even though you didn't invite me and I invited myself.
well, I did have a lot of people always calling me, since I was always good at problem solving. Everybody called me for problem solving.
Yeah,
So never said no. I would say that. So I would go help my friends. I would go help my parents. I would go help. So
yeah.
yeah, that kept me busy. That was the part that kept me go, go, go. And
And did
then
you
at night,
feel resentful? Did you feel
huh?
resentful? I mean, did you, I mean, there's a part of us that loves it because you're like, yes, I'm the center of the universe, everybody needs me. But then at the same time, for me anyway, I was resentful of it because I couldn't rest. I couldn't just be. I didn't know what that looked like. I was always
Uh,
doing
I
something.
don't know if I was resentful. All I know is I was always angry. I was always angry. Always mad at everything.
Well, yeah,
If
that's
something didn't go the way I wanted it to go, I was angry. But I felt more now that anger came out of people's ignorance, that I didn't have the patience
mm,
for people's ignorance. And I didn't have the courage to say no, to set those boundaries.
yeah.
Um, because again, that's not wanting to hurt people was
Well,
the
and then
challenge.
they're not gonna like me, and I don't want to upset them. That was me too.
It
But
was kind of like me, but nobody really liked me anyway. So I guess,
mm, that's true. Yeah, because I think that we think that, well, they're, I need them to like me and they're not going to like me if I say no to them, if I put up this boundary. But then when you really look at it, do they really fuck with you anyway? Like, are they there when you need them? No. So yeah,
oh
you're
no,
right. You're not really losing anything.
I was very adamant with my friends. I was very adamant with people. But when I was also very generous too,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
I made a lot of money and made it easy to share with people. Now that I realize that they really didn't care,
And
you
they
know.
didn't deserve it, right? Because I was like that too. I'm
And
like,
then your family here is like, I limit them,
mm,
and it's like, no, it should have been the other way around, But for me to be happy, for me to go out and have fun, I needed certain people to be there. And like you said, you
Well, you
buy them
think,
a beer,
hmm,
you buy them this, you pay the way in, whatever.
yeah,
So it was, I could see a lot of that stuff, and that's a lot of the stuff that I had to heal within myself and understand all the harm that I did to my family, and at the same time holding space for them and allowing them to go through their stuff because of what they did for me.
yeah.
It's like
Well, they're
gratitude.
teaching you to
Yep.
come back home to yourself.
Yep.
Uh, the important thing I had to realize for me to let go of that anger was everybody's doing the best that they can at the level that they're at, because I think like I expected too much from people, and they're not me. They don't think like me. They don't value what I value. So how the hell can I expect them to act like me or think like me if they're not me? They're them, and they have different lenses and different experiences, and they didn't go through all the trauma that I went through. So they don't value things that I think are precious, like family, children, love, whatever. They don't, to them that's not precious because they haven't learned that lesson yet. And that's okay. I can just let them be whoever they need to be, and like that's not my business. That was fucking hard for me. That one was really hard. Like like they're not evil. They're just not there yet. But it doesn't make them bad, because and then recognizing that in myself when I was all fucked up like that, like you thought that too, remember, in 1987 or whenever, and I'm like, well, yeah, I did think I was a liar, I was a cheater, I was whatever. And like, oh yeah, I did that too, and this is how I felt, so maybe this is how they're feeling. So kind of like seeing yourself in them and seeing how, okay, I see how they could have reacted like that, thought that, did that, cheated, lied, left, whatever. Because I remember when I did those things and what I was thinking and feeling. And it all comes from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of not being good enough, insecurity.
Well, it's like to me, and like I spread to you before, when you wanted to stop communicating the last time because you were going through your stuff. To me, it was like, what's wrong with this person? Or what's wrong with me? What did I do now?
Well, for those, okay, nobody knows what you're talking about. So since you're putting me on blast, let me tell everybody. Okay, so Rich and I were talking a lot before, last year? Time is so weird right now. I don't remember like lengths of time, but we were talking before like this, like every day, every day, every day, multiple times a day. And then all of a sudden I felt the need to detach and leave. I had to leave. And it was like, I was on fire. I had to leave. It wasn't like, oh, well, I'm feeling the pull to like, no, it was like brick wall. We're getting the fuck out of here. Run. And I went with it because it was all consuming. It wasn't like I had a choice. It was, no, we're leaving. And so I tried to be as kind and but like clear as I could without being a dick, because I didn't want to do that. So I was trying to be very deliberate, but it's still, a bomb is a bomb. It's still gonna hurt. So I mean, I dropped the bomb, and that's why when we talk about let people go, let them be who they need to be so they can learn whatever lesson they need to learn and then come back clean, because I feel the universe will bring you back together if you're meant to work together or be together, whatever. No matter if it's romantic, platonic, business, professional, you will come back, because we came back. And you said it was 9 months, and I can't believe it was that freaking long. That's a long time. And we reconnected, and for me it felt like fresh, clean slate. I didn't have none of the shit that I had before, and you didn't either, and it feels balanced, it feels reciprocal, it feels different. it feels clean. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't have all this weird shit on it like it did before. But I know I'm new, I'm different here. And what's your perspective on that, since you brought it up?
No, definitely. There was difference of energies,
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like, here's another thing that we share is the vampire part. Most relationships are based on vampirism. I need something from you, you need something from me. And it's an energy thing. It's not anything else. It's an energy thing. And we're attracted to people because of certain energies that they carry.
Yeah. So people watching this, think of this with your friendships, and professional relationships, but also think of this with your romantic relationships or families, because this can apply to any relationship, right?
So the first time we came around, there was things that we spoke about and we opened up and we shared. And there's things that we didn't. Well, the stuff that we didn't talk about is what we both need from each other. So we were doing that while we were communicating, but not aware that we're doing that. So when we do have a communication with an individual and you're taking something that you need from them and they're taking something that you need from them, what happens is both individuals or the individual is getting tired, getting overwhelmed, getting either too much energy or getting sucked out of too much energy. And there's things that both as a teacher and a student, we have to be aware of, how much energy we're putting out and how much energy we're receiving. It's a balance. And when we first came across, we were using each other. You felt that. I knew that. And that's what made you to push you away. But it needed to you had to go through an experience so you could understand this. And then later we could talk about it. So when you cleared out and you didn't feel what you felt, and you were open enough to say, you know what, let me reach out to him, I'm feeling him again, whatever reasons are, then what happens is it allows the clarity, the cleanliness to actually come between two people and clear out whatever differences they had between them. So that's why I expressed to you when you shared that comment about your friend and how she comes and she goes. Well, because we all tend to come and go into relationships because we tend to come around a person when we need them. It's not we need them, we need their energy. We need to bring balance within ourselves. So we tend to use the person that's in front of us, be our partner, be our business partner, be what is. And then we can make that person feel like shit. Because what happens when we make a person feel like shit, we take whatever they have into ourselves to make ourselves feel better. Now, people are doing this all the time. They're not doing it on purpose. It's being subconsciously being done.
Yeah,
So a lot of
about masculine and feminine, right? The masculine and feminine energy.
Well, it can be feminine, masculine too. But we're all using each other's energies, not realizing that that's what we're attracted to. We say it's their butt, their boobs, their chest, their head, their mentality, whatever it is. But it's an energy from head to toe. People have foot fetishes. Well, maybe it's because they need foot energy. Yeah. No, you be amazed. People like intelligences. Why? Because they want that higher energy.
Ah, that's true. I do like being mentally stimulated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So depending on the person, we're always attracting that energy and we're attracted to those energies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the differences that we had. So by us coming back together this time around, some of that stuff needed to be expressed so we could understand each other. We could have more balance. We could have more harmony. And we can move forward as unity, not moving forward as one person being more balanced or one person being more unbalanced or whatever. It's just being able to work together. Yes, and having that understanding. That's why most people pull apart and then come back together, is because there's a difference. And that difference needs to be settled between that one individual. It could have been both of us within our own difference, because I know I had certain things that I need to settle. And part of that was people leaving me. It's one of my biggest problems. So I had to be okay with that. I had to be okay with someone leaving me again, because since I started this process, people just kept leaving me. And I'm like, why? Even my whole family turned against me. But again, it's because subconsciously, it's me, something inside of me that bothers me. And the universe is going to pull every person I get attracted to or that I'm
Pulled.
being a vampire too, because I'm sucking their energy, pulled away from me until I learned to embody that within myself and not have to worry, oh, I need to call that person because I feel good every time I talk to that person.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Everything that you're saying, I can relate to it because I felt abandoned as a kid by my parents. And you don't have to have like a father leave you or be an orphan to feel that, because both of my parents lived in the house, but they were emotionally unavailable. I raised myself. Like I had what I needed barely, but there was no emotional look, mija, this is how you do it. There was no guidance. I had to guide myself, and the abuse that came with it. So I have seen that mirrored in my relationships with men and women, where they leave, where they betray me, where they abandon me. Or I think they're gonna have my back. Shit goes down, they're gone. And I'm like, what? I thought you were my friend, but you said you were my best friend. And when now that I'm whatever's happening, you're not here, but you're here for the good times. And like seeing like, oh, okay, I don't need anybody. I don't need a husband. I don't need my mother. I don't need my father. I'm my own mother. I'm my own father. I'm my own husband. I can do this shit by myself. And then seeing like, well, yeah, I could do it by myself. Like, it's okay. And then that's when everything started shifting. When I'm like, oh, well, I like playing with other people, but I don't need them, because me too, I felt like always like reaching out to people. Oh, you want to come on the channel? You want to do a collab? And then being all excited and saying yes. And then they never freaking reply to me. And then me realizing, why am I begging them? I don't need them. I have my own ideas. I get my own information that I channel. What the fuck am I begging them for? And then seeing like, oh, I don't need them. So now that I don't need them, now I'm getting blown up. Hey, you want to work together? And now I'm like, oh, okay. So that is exactly what you said. Whether you look at it with relationships, romantic, family, your kids,
Business.
anything, friends, business, clients, remove the need for them, remove the need for the guy, remove the need for the girl. As soon as you remove the need and you're like, I'm fine, like I could take it or leave it, that's when the universe is gonna bring you 5 of those motherfuckers. Here you go. Now you can pick. Now you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Like most of the time when I get on a call or stuff like this, I know what's happening beforehand. I'm usually aware. I don't know the specifics or the details, but because there's always healings going on, especially right now, because I'll go this far. Since 2012, everybody's healing. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are on the planet.
If you're conscious or not, right? Like you're healing.
The only persons that are getting sick today are the persons that are projecting their own fears upon themselves. Meaning is if you feel that you're getting sick, you feel this and you're fear of it, then you are, period. Any illness today is about health. It's about purging out whatever toxins are in your body and rejuvenate to a higher frequency. That's what any illness is today. So for all those people that are feeling ill or having fear of anything that's going on around the world, remember one thing: your body's just purging, or you can move up to the higher realms, period. No matter what anybody else is saying.
So accept it, celebrate the purge. Good, I'm glad this is leaving. And call in more of your God self into your body to replace those empty spots. I do that. I just say that that's what's happening. And I command that. And I feel like it fills you up. Also exercising. Oh my God, exercising is so good. Like even just walking or stretching, yoga, anything.
Lay out in your backyard in the sun.
Yeah.
That is amazing, especially if you're going through anything.
A hot bath, salt bath. Holy cow, that is so good for you.
You know, they talk about, quarantines and all this. I still go out walking. I still
Me too. People look at me like I'm a freak and they're mad at me for hiking because I'll go for an hour. I don't care. Don't talk to me. Social distance. Go away. And I keep doing it. My routine has not changed.
Yeah. Again, it's all about divine timing. Whatever's meant to happen will.
Talk
Whoever you're
about
supposed to do across.
talk about the new people that are just awakened recently. That you said that they're all being triggered, that you've experienced. Some of them get triggered by what you say, or
Well, a lot of new individuals are being triggered by everything that's going on around them, just in general.
they're in
Just
overwhelm
for them,
right now.
yeah, just for them to be able to wake up, to get, actually, for them to start learning how to let go. So, for example, the majority of the planet are being triggered by all the news that's happening. For them to turn around and say, you know what, I'm done watching the news. It's a process. Um, a lot of these kids that are waking up right now, their root chakras are waking up, their solar plexus, all their lower are waking up, so they're starting to manifest things faster. Their fears, their doubts, their hates.
Mm-hmm.
And it's part of the process of helping them wake up. So the sooner they start manifesting things, the sooner they start creating problems, which eventually they'll teach them to pay attention to what they're doing,
Okay.
how they're thinking, how they're reacting, how they're responding.
So it all leads you to the next thing. Even if
Yes.
it looks crappy, it's good because it's leading you to the solution.
So the reason you see so much stuff going on around us on this planet right now is because the majority of the people are creating this fear. And as they learn to let go of it, you start to bounce up and start seeing more of the positive things going on around us, which I tend to see everywhere I go now today. Doesn't matter where I go.
Well, because of your alignment.
Because of my alignment. So every time I go to the store, when people are waiting, an hour in line and the shelves are half empty, you could say, I go to the store, there's no lines, the shelves are full.
Yeah.
I'm not having to wait for parking. Parking's always open. There's no traffic.
It's just smooth.
It's just smooth, and if there's something that in the shelf that I need, or I thought I needed, because there's nothing in this world that you need, first of all.
Right.
But something that I like to eat, I would say, and it's not there. I happen to look over to my right, and there's another product similar, and I start reading it, and it's healthy. Well, maybe this product that's not in that shelf is maybe because you're not supposed to eat it.
Okay.
Maybe it's time for you to switch products.
Okay.
Well, here, let's take this even one step further. How many times have you heard to start meditating in your life? How many times have you been told to fast? How many times have you been told to make changes for your health?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? Today you haven't done those changes. And today when you go to the store, the shelf is going to be empty because it's time for you to fast. And maybe once you go fast for your 2-3 days at home and you go back to the store, there'll be food there.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is happening for you in a timely manner. It's happening because it's what you need to let go.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start realizing everything that's happening to you right now, no matter what it is, it's perfect. Be grateful for it. Be thankful for it. Thank you. You know what? There happened to be no food on the shelves. Thank you. You know what? You don't want me to eat today? I'll go home. I'll fast.
Yeah.
I'm empty today. Let me go check out the store. No food? Okay. Guess what? You know how many spiritual people I've seen travel, run out of money, no food for days, no place to sleep? They were put in those positions because they needed to learn. They didn't do it on their own. So guess what? You get put in situations.
So the field is always talking to you. Just
Always.
listen to the message.
And guess what? When they got in those situations, when they came out of them, now they were real spiritual people, not just spiritual people that read a book,
Oh, they walked it.
felt something. Now they actually lived it.
Mm-hmm.
They understand the communication with spirit is now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get that stuffing yourself with potato chips and sodas and junk, candy and all this other stuff that you think that is healthy or is part of living life. No.
It's vegan.
I don't even want to go with the being in and eating meat because that's a whole nother world. But it's a matter of just like, here goes the bees, being and enjoying and allowing whatever's meant to manifest and have an outcome in front of you. Just allow it.
Yeah.
It's
And
challenging at times.
you got to change. If you expect the field, the mirror to change, you got to change first. Then
Yes.
it'll just copy you.
Because we are creating everything that's going on around us through our fears and emotions. Our thoughts have something to do with it too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, huge. Let's talk about when we had that conversation of people. You said you download people with your energy, then they think that they're at your level because they're copying what you said, and they think you're equal. So basically, you're feeding them with your knowledge, but they didn't live it, they didn't experience it, and that ties in perfectly what we were talking about. And so they're basically repeating words that they haven't lived or experienced. So it's not authentic because they don't even know what they're saying. Like, they're excited by it, but they don't know what they're saying.
Right.
And they're trying to teach something that they haven't lived.
First of all, I want to say, and I want to make this very clear, everybody's equal on this planet. Nobody's better than anybody.
Mhm.
Now, that being said, is we all woke up, and I don't know if you're aware of an equalizer, an equal, a light bar, we could say, and the light bar goes up and down, and there's a lot of lights. Well, imagine there's all these lights going across, and they go up and down. Well, imagine every person on the planet is a part of that light. Some part, somewhere. Light. Well, our job as individuals is to learn to unite. And this is where unity comes in. Share our gifts. Teach each other what we lack. But with the knowing and understanding, not where we're just taking it from people because we're using them, but where we're understanding and sharing our balance and harmony so we could allow all our lights to grow and become fully embodied. What was the question again? I went blank.
You download people with your energy, then they think that they're at your level, that they're your equal, but they're repeating words that they haven't lived or experienced.
Okay. So what happens is, once in a while, an individual has done and opened some of these lights, we can say. So you're more filled of lights. Other individuals haven't. So what they do is they come and talk, and they're vampires. So what they do is they'll come and tell you their problems, literally dump on you, so they could take some of that light that you've opened up and carried and replenished within yourself and take within them. That's energy at certain frequency. So what happens is they grab that energy, they go manifest, they'll go create, they go do whatever they want with that energy. They literally took it from you or you gave it to them, consciously or unconsciously. And I've seen this happen a lot, where you give an idea to somebody and they run off with that idea and they build it, they create it, but yet they don't have the manifesting ability to be able to do it, but they come back and say, oh, let me get some more energy from you. And then they go manifest more of that stuff because they're using your energy to manifest their realities, their toys, their whatever. And I've noticed this with my daughter, my son, and how they're running around and they share all their energy with everybody. And then they come back yelling and crying, hey, this person took my idea. Oh, that person bought my car. That person, and it's like, oh, you guys are just giving all your energy, all your ideas, just giving it all away.
Even in romantic relationships, because with you talking, I see how I did that with my ex.
So us learning to bring harmony within ourselves and becoming aware of this is going on, then we tend to use our energy more efficiently. We learn to share our energy more efficiently. We learn to have boundaries. And we don't want to say that we have to charge people for doing something, but there has to be a value to what you're sharing. And that's why people take certain things for granted. Sometimes you share energy and you get all mad because, look, they're just wasting it. They don't believe it. But that's you. That's not them. They're still children trying to play with grown-up energy. And you're giving your energy to them, and then you're like, they're not doing nothing right. And that's why sometimes you have to let them fall and wait until they come back to you and come and ask for help. because then the energy is used more properly.
Then they're ready. Like you said, are you ready to listen?
Yes. So a lot of these individuals unconsciously dump on people, take their energy, and then they preside themselves as spiritual teachers, spiritual coaches out there.